I'm working, working. I'm working. So come along. Come along. I thought it'd be fun to do live. I've got to get a little bit of martial arts training here in just a moment. Keep the body, mind active, all that stuff. Send good job notes to students. Show them they're appreciated. There we go. Show them they're appreciated. Good morning. What's up, man? Good to see you again. I saw you last night. Yeah, it is. If you are in where you're at, it is actually morning, isn't it? Because that time difference, east to west coast. So here it's early afternoon here. It's early afternoon. So, but yeah, yep, 10 a.m. Yep, 3 hour time difference. Sounds about right. Yeah, it's about 1 p.m. here, down here in South Kakalaki. Down here in the South, let me tell you, down here in the South, that kid needs one. Down here in the South, it's a good day. Oh, you thought it was in the North? Interesting. Yeah, I don't have a Southern accent, so my family, a bunch of my relatives are from family heritage, all spread out, but half my family is from deep South. The other half is from the North, and I just don't have a Southern accent really. Most people tell me actually I sound like I am from California because I just don't have an accent. Give me a second to do this. Yeah, I don't have an accent, so that's what I've been told. Hi, how are you? You're fine. You're not interrupting me. You're fine. I'm invading early. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. As I said, yeah, work's great. It's busy. Works great. I'm just busy all the time. How's your work going? Yeah, I said, yeah, I'm self-employed, and so like things kind of go on like it's like you have like bouts of like serious intensity followed by like bouts of rest in essence. So last week, a lot going on last week, a lot going on this week, and so last week, the weekend, I was just like spent. I was just like, oh my gosh, just spent. And so I'm still tired today, to be honest with you, but not too bad. Um, so yeah, getting busy, bunch of changes, bunch of stuff to be proactive about. Yesterday I was just dealing with stupid problems all day that just don't matter. Oh my gosh, like people will steal your time, man. Um, yeah, people will definitely drag you into drama if you let it happen. So I don't tolerate that from people whatsoever. You know, people want to be heard, be appreciated, stuff like that. But you know, there's a good saying. You know, people say the customer's always right. So the full quote is actually the customer is always right in matters of taste, which means the customer is not always right, but it does mean they're always right in the matter of their taste, their preference, but they're not necessarily right as far as like their actions, the way they treat you, everything else. So it doesn't mean like you have to tolerate bad behavior from people. And yeah, I had someone just going crazy and they're just like pseudo harassing me, calling me 24/7. I just had my phone off over the weekend to have a break, and I had like half dozen missed calls and texts from this person. I'm like, what in the world? And then they try to like pull a bunch of hot garbage and just typical bad client stuff um, typical bad client stuff. And I'm just like, hey, hey, see you around. This ain't working. Fire your clients. Yeah, fire your clients. One of my favorite quotes, got from Tim Ferriss. Fire your clients. So that's the whole thing. It's like, generally it's like 100% of your problems are caused by like, it's either like 5%, 10%, 20% of your clients is what people say. And so generally speaking, if you have a business, particularly in my case, a service-based business where your focus and energy is everything, you want to notice when you have clients who are like really draining, and every time you work with them you're just like, oh my gosh, like I want to take a nap, or I want to like take a break from life for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like most people you work with are awesome and are super easygoing, great to get along with, everything else, and you're just like excited to work with them. But just like, you just got like 10% to 20% that cause all your problems, and they are super needy and give you a hard time about every little thing you do. Yeah, they give you a hard time about every little thing you do. They critique everything you do. They have stupid questions. They want extra time. They want you to treat them differently than everyone else, all this stuff. And so I remember years ago when I was young, well, I'm still young, but when I was really young, I was like not doing the greatest financial. I was doing okay, but I just wasn't like killing it. And I had a client, and he paid me about like $600 a month for private lessons once a week, right? So about $600 a month. And I was like, oh man, $600 a month. Work with him on a Friday, and I just noticed that I was just drained, out of my mind. The guy was demanding. He wanted extra time. He'd be like, well, I should get more time for my hour because I felt like you were really talking for most of the hour and I wasn't doing enough. So you need to give me like 2 hours, like just like stuff like that. And just like every time I'd work with him, and also like at that time I was kind of like a wuss and just didn't have strong boundaries with people or anything. And yeah, I just remember finally I was working with him, and it dawned on me. I was like, this guy is just overstaying his welcome. He comes in and acts like he owns the place, and I'm exhausted, and this is time I should be focused on my business, getting more clients, recovering, having a life, I don't know, breathing the air. I don't even know. So I remember finally I was just like, hey, listen, it's great, but I don't think I'm a good fit for you. Wish you well, but just happy to find somebody else to work with, but I'm just not, I'm just not the person for you to work with, man. And so I remember after I did that, he sent me this passive aggressive. Yeah, I do agree with you there, actually. I do agree with you. Yeah, it was not worth the money. Keep in mind that was like 8 years ago, so like back then, like it, went a little bit farther back then, but whatever. But back to what I was saying. So yeah, I remember he left the most amazing passive aggressive voicemail that was like, well, you don't want to work with me and blah 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 blah. Well, I found someone who's better than you, and he's like a better instructor, he's in better shape. He's like all it was like weird, odd, specific details he left in it, which is like, what in the world? I was like, oh my god, this is absurd. and it was just like it was so funny though. Um, I remember I was just laughing, it was so funny. I was just like, what in the world? Like, who is this? Who does this guy think he is? Who the heck does this guy think he flipping is that he's going to treat me this way? Like, come on. Come on, bro. And so, yeah, I was like, yep. I was like, good decision. What's crazy is like whenever you have people like that, and when you have people like that, and um, you finally make some space from them, you always are like, oh shoot, like this like, this is a bunch of money or whatever. Like, I don't want to lose this account or whatever. And then you get rid of the problem account and you're like, what? Why was I concerned about this? Like, why did this concern me even slightly? Hey, how's it going, man? I know I'm working, quote unquote working. But yeah, yes. And you're right about that. Like, so I actually appreciate that happening because it really, as I said at the time, I was very much like, I was very insecure as a business person. I really was like that. What happens, especially like when you, business wise, a lot of people are like really, really reactive, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to like go out of my way all the time to please everyone. I must like return a text within 5 seconds, or no one will take me seriously. I'm, blah 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 blah. And then you quickly realize like most people are chill and like, and you want to run your business in a way where you attract the right clients. And so like, yeah, like I tend to not text back fast. Like sometimes I do. Like this morning, I got a text this morning. I was at my phone. I happened to, because there was an easy answer. But like generally, like I'll wait an hour or two, even a day sometimes. Like if it's nothing like imperative, right? Also, just because too, just out of like courtesy, I want to actually have time to like, if it needs some attention, I want like think through it and everything else. Um, so very few things are life or death. Very few. Nice, man. Taking pictures of figures. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, but very few things are life or death or as serious as we make them out to be. And it's like, yeah, it was like this person, as I said, like this person, I had this person, they left like flipping like texts at like 6 a.m. and calls at like 6 a.m. and all this stuff. Like, what the hell? Like, dude, what the hell? It was like over like a very minimal charge. And yeah, and so then I look over all the stuff on Monday when I look at my phone again. Like I was just with my girlfriend all weekend, and um, back to what I was saying though. So I was like looking over everything, and I was like, I look over and like the person I saw, like I hadn't returned their text, and within 5 minutes they already like put in a cancellation form for the membership and all this stuff, and then still kept calling me and everything, and like it was just absurd. I was like, what in the world? And so I was like, please go, please go, never come back. Never come back for any reason. Go find someone else to harass and get out of my life. Um, our yeah, yeah, please. Yes, the red flag thing, what you said, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You deal with a client like that. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like, I haven't really worked for many people before, like, and it's always been very brief stints, but you definitely notice that if the individual, like, you definitely notice like little subtle red flags, right? And when you notice them, it's like just get out. At least for my case, like of course, obviously, like I'm lucky, like I've been self-employed forever, so I have a different skill set. So I have the ability to be like, hey, I'm out, see ya. If I were the means to do that, if I don't want to work with someone for any reason, really. But like, yeah, like when you see red flags like that, like just see it. It's a massive red flag. It'd be like if like Same thing, like you're seeing a girl and she says stuff that you're like, that just are like obviously like, dude, this is not good. Don't overlook it. Like, see it. It's not gonna get better. Like 9 times out of 10, it won't get any better. It's just like, give them the benefit of the doubt, but get out. Um, you too, man. Enjoy your work. Thanks for being on your break. It means a lot. Have a blessed day. Have fun. Enjoy San Fran, all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but as I said, like whenever you get like the red flags with like, employer, friendships, whatever, it was like I was thinking about I had a friend of mine, well, my friend, quote unquote. I just hung out a few times and like cool guy, but like he would just like say really there were certain things to talk about and like in his attitude that was just like off, and yeah, and I just kind of stopped spending time around him because I was like, this guy, I just get a bad vibe. I don't know what it is. I just get a bad vibe with this guy, and yeah, for good reason. So when you have that gut instinct, definitely recommend listening, and that's with work, clients, people, relationships. Yeah, relationships, whatever. Just see for what it is. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a day here. I can't multitask. Thanks for being on. I'll see you later. The best day. See all that peeling skin from the sun. The beach is great. All right, adios, amigo. Bye bye.